Gemini, this is your April 2024 soul story. If you've got a sun, rising or moon in the sign, you might find some of these messages resonate. It's Romy. Thanks for joining me on my channel. Look forward to sharing these insights for the month ahead. We're opening up with the energy of the Son of Staffs, the Knight of Wands, and you are certainly blazing a trail throughout April. You know, the thing that you have in common with this Aries energy at the beginning of the month is this desire for things to progress and move quickly and dynamically, and I think you will see rapid progress. This is an incredibly intense month. It's a very enriched, rewarding experience if you allow yourself to kind of catch the wave and not feel like you're being pulled under. Now, that said, your ruler Mercury is going retrograde in Aries from the first of the month, so that always creates a little bit of scrambled communication and energy. But the way that you are initiating the experience of April tells me that, you know, you'll use that retrograde as an opportunity to kind of refine as you reflect upon the gap of where you are versus where you want to be. And it's just really about not feeling limited or frustrated or fearful or insecure about that gap, but really understanding what is it going to take. And I think you've got an innate confidence that is coming through in April. It might not be with you like 24/7 all through the month, but the times that it does show up, you'll feel so certain in regards to the next steps or into the ideas that are formulating or the actions that you know you need to make in that moment, that that's going to be enough to sort of almost carry you through. Now, we have the solar eclipse landing in Aries on the 8th of the month at 19 degrees, and the karma that's clearing around this energy, of course illuminating in your 11th house, is bringing in some, I want to say, unexpected and possibly quite unimaginable insights for you. That's kind of coupled with the fact that this month we also have this Jupiter conjunct Uranus aspect arriving on the 20th, and you know, it's been 85 years since we last saw it in Taurus, and so the kind of capacity for some incredibly unexpected events and situations to arise through the month of April are set to ensure that this is an experience that's certainly going to be unique and unlike anything that you have felt on an energetic level for some time. You're going to be taking inventory of it all. And I think, Gemini, better questions are going to lead to more expansive new possibilities. So the Hanged Man, I think that's going to be in relation to this retrograde, slowing things down a little bit. You could feel frustrated, and yet you actually look quite at peace, almost willing to say, okay, let me just hang back for a moment. You know, it's almost like we take the Aries philosophy. We initiate and kind of launch and do that, you know, that first action, and then we sit back and allow. And there's something really important in terms of the messaging for you in April, Gemini, about allowing. You know, if you are a consistent overgiver, then you miss opportunities to receive because you're constantly trying to fill the space with just being more, doing more, creating more. And so this Hanged Man energy tells me that, you know, there's something that you're changing in terms of your perception. In fact, everything in the month of April has an opportunity, if you allow it, to be given a conscious reframe. So the questions that you're asking, like we said, better questions are going to be leading to more expansive new possibilities for you, right? So, you know, if that conscious reframe included you beginning a sentence with what if, you know, what if this sets me free? What if this is the answer I've been waiting for? And so whatever the experience that shows up, there's an opportunity here for you to see it in a new way. That's what that Hanged Man is going to be so significant for in April. The solar eclipse in Aries, that new moon energy, definitely set to shake things up a little bit. And in the 11th house, you know, something going on regarding online technology, communities, groups, friendships, you know, so something around the intentions that you're setting. And remember, you set the tone, Gemini. You set the tone for what feels normal. And that means that you have to first shift the relationship with yourself so that other people are then mirroring that back to you. So if you're trying to elicit whatever that theme might be, more trust, more loyalty, more time, more, you know, whatever the thing, it's like when we give it to the self and we keep the promise of that. And I see you keeping the promise, I see you making the commitment and wanting to follow through. You're holding on to something incredibly tightly and quite defiantly here. You know its worth, you know its value, you know what it represents and what it means. And all this fire, remember, with your air energy is creating quite a combustible force, a force to be reckoned with. This is why I'm saying you're blazing a trail in regards to something. We just need to be mindful we're not holding on too tightly, but I think your Hanged Man is going to step in any situation where that might happen and just try and help you to chill a little bit. You know, the frustration that can get caused when retrograde is coming in, especially with Aries, can make the emotional sort of temperature in the room, you know, just skyrocket a little bit. Add to that the eclipse, add to that the conjunction, and, you know, we have an astrological forecast that's certainly feeling quite intense and unpredictable at times. Now, as we move towards that mid-month, I feel like what's on your mind, yeah, that Ace of Staffs, the thing that's been sparked within you, you know, then has this challenge that seems to kind of come alongside it. Now, it's not enough to prevent you or to block you, but there is a understanding. I think there's an acceptance from you this month, Gemini, that says, okay, if I follow this path, if I, you know, follow through with this, if I take this on, if I allow this to become something more, i.e. I'm going to invest my energy emotionally, financially, in whatever capacity, then there's going to be some sense of a contrast that I'm going to have to deal with, whether that be you know, the arguments that it causes, whether that be an inner conflict because of how, you know, you need to split your energy, whether that may present itself as feeling like you're in an environment that's quite competitive, and, you know, whatever the challenges that shows up, you do show me you're ready and invested. And actually, in some ways, although it might not feel like that when you're in the experience, I think you can thrive on the fact that it's something to work with. Do you know, like when we've got stagnation, and the Hanged Man, you know, might give you moments through the course of April where, you know, you might be feeling into that. I sense, to be perfectly frank, with the amount happening in the astrological forecast, it's unlikely. But, you know, if it was that way for you for a prolonged period, sometimes that stagnation can feel more draining. When a lot is going on, even if it's not all favorable, we can kind of harness that energy and then redirect it, and we can make it work for us in a way that sort of helps us to narrow our focus, to get clear on our priorities, or to know exactly what the right next step is going to be for us, because we more clearly know what we don't want. And so when that happens, it kind of leads us naturally down the path of saying, well, if that's the absolute, like, non-negotiable, no way, then it's more obvious to me that I should be over here, and this is what I ought to be doing at this moment. And I think that's going to really serve you. Now, with this Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus, of course, that lights up your 12th house. And what we see here is the capacity for a incredible healing breakthrough for you. Something deeply unconscious becoming conscious, something happening spiritually speaking that, you know, can rock your world and change your world in a sort of once in a lifetime kind of capacity. Now we've got the Two of Cups coming through here. So as we navigate and overcome the challenges, we then move into an experience that we're almost like prepped and ready to then receive whatever the surprise or the unexpected nature of what that conjunction is going to deliver for us. And, you know, along with the eclipse, like, let's be frank, you know, this could kind of put all of the plans that you've made on hold or irrevocably change them in some way. So kind of hold space for that and just be completely open in mind and heart. But what we're seeing here is that something that's been wanted, you know, and we have the age of the couple here telling us that there's something of longevity, something that's been around for some time, that's perhaps been in your heart space, you know, from an emotional perspective. And we're now arriving at an opportunity for something to be ignited, change, shift, movement, and coming into a place of, I want to give you the word devotion. So devotion is a word that is kind of written all over your month for April. What or whom are you devoting your time, energy, and attention to? And something around that Jupiter Uranus conversation is helping in regards to that. Now, there could also be some major shifts and changes from a financial perspective for us all as a result of that. And so for you in 12th house, maybe coming to the end, the release, the closure, the letting go of something that could materially change circumstances. And regardless of the experience on that roller coaster, there's something about the month of April that wants to set us free. Okay, so keep that in mind, because sometimes things can take us on a bit of a strange journey that might not necessarily make sense, and that's where that conscious reframe needs to come through for you, right? So we've got the asteroid goddess Juno stationing direct in Virgo on the 21st. We talked about this back in January. She went retrograde in January and been in Virgo since October 23. Now is an opportunity for all of the kind of grumblings that were going on in regards relationships, also contractually, looking for better terms, looking at things that you were unhappy with, trying to resolve them, trying to come to the table, but, you know, struggling with that, but getting clearer and clearer. Now, direct energy helps facilitate a more growth-filled opportunity, right? Where creative solutions present themselves more easily. And again, in this month, with that Ace of Staffs, with that Knight of Wands, like I said, you're blazing a trail. All this fire energy here is incredibly supportive of you being able to move on, move up, create something new, make a dynamic shift and change. And we've then got this full moon in Scorpio arriving on the 23rd, just ahead of Mercury stationing direct. Now, the illumination of what comes through around that is very pertinent, because it will help you to understand and resolve something that you've been experiencing on a deeply emotional level. And it also kind of helps to reveal where you might have I want to say, like, where there's things you've been sensing or psychically picking up on. I think that that information then gets shown to you or revealed to you. So you may see the source, you may come to know the origin, you may come to understand what it was, and you know that's going to put you firmly in a place where even more clearly, like, you now know what you want to do or how you want to act. But remember, I think that there is this sense of you needing to stop trying to kind of solve everything yourself, and that perhaps around this time, the magnetism of that Scorpio moon, along with a lot of this Aries energy in your 11th house, is saying, what can you leverage in terms of your network, in terms of the support that's around you, you know? And again, this is back to this idea of, if you're over giving all the time, you're missing opportunities. So Scorpio moon also wanting to support like a bit of a reinvention, a rebirth, a reimagining of how things can operate for you. Remember, this is also your 6th house, so it also wants to take into consideration the impact that things have, especially on your physicality, on the sense of balance that you have going on with regards to, you know, that reciprocity, and you know, perhaps pertaining to the day-to-day routines and things that are going on in your world, that, you know, effectively those tiny decisions you make moment to moment and how they are shaping your overall experience. So that full moon in Scorpio is showing you something you need to see to help prevent you, I would suggest, from burning out, because all of this fire energy is phenomenal for being able to create, to move, to bring passion and energy, and you know, help facilitate that sense of regeneration, accelerated growth. But also, if it's not managed or handled well, you know, it can really leave you in a place where, you know, you're gonna very quickly run out. And at that point, you know, we then have to kind of go back to the sort of starting block a little bit, because it's like, okay, you know, I have to find a better way, I have to find a better approach. I think your Hanged Man is there very purposely for that reason, just to kind of stop things from moving too quickly, or you responding too irrationally, too impulsively. Yeah. And the retrograde energy, you know, coming in to just help you reflect and go back over, because there's going to be pieces of the puzzle that are going to be super important. And like I said to you, you're going to be taking an inventory of something, okay? So as that continues to sort of deliver to you new information or awareness, because I feel like you're going to see things that you'd conveniently overlooked in a way. Perhaps you knew that they existed, or you were aware of their presence, but you know, all of a sudden something about the month of April is helping to draw your focus towards them, and ultimately that can be something that serves you. Okay, so again, coming toward the end of the month, that's going to feel quite significant. You know, you're going to feel motivated and exhilarated. You're also going to feel frustrated and quite charged up. So finding ways to kind of settle and ground your energy is going to be important. There may be arguments that seem to be surfacing. Try and not get too pulled in. It feels like things can blow up and then very quickly move on. This is not a time to be kind of holding on to grudges, because so much is in flux and shifting and changing. You also have the capacity for something to grow, and grow very quickly through the month of April. So careful where you put your attention. Yeah, put it towards those things where you're trying to elevate your prosperity consciousness. Now, my Sacred Soul Support guided meditation this month is around elevation of your prosperity consciousness. We've also got a guided journey to work with the asteroid goddess Juno, and stationing direct in Virgo. Remember, that's your 4th house, so there might be something close to home, something to do with property, something to do with you know, family, that's kind of getting onto a different gear change now. So commitments, promises, agreements, all shifting and changing for you through the latter part of April and over the next few weeks as well. You'll feel better as Mercury stations direct towards the end of the month. And you're also going to feel the impact of Mars coming out of Pisces and moving into Aries, which is a far more formidable energy to work with, and one that will serve you really well to help you maintain and sustain your energy levels. But I think you're going to learn something important about that through the month as well, highlighting around that full moon Scorpio. Something that you say, highly magnetic in and around that time as well. And perhaps for those of you who are wanting and desiring to ignite passion or draw towards you an experience that can help bring about that that feeling of like a little bit more like butterflies again, I think there's something interesting. And remember what I said, there's something unexpected and unimaginable incoming through the month of April. Now, if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended reading, Gemini, so you can join me for another 30 minutes. We'll talk about a personal question as well for you, and a relationship card to just give you deeper insights. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify these cards, see the direction we'll be taking that. You can find the link for the extended below the video. I hope you will join me, and just to see where this is going to take us. We've got the 8 of Wands, we've got the King of Pentacles, we've got the Ace of Swords, love that coming through, 8 of Pentacles as well. All the decks are listed beneath, and you can find my sacred titles, my book, my deck, all the meditations I create, and different ways to work with me over on my website, You'll also find the goddess reports if you're interested to see where Juno sits in your own personal natal chart and how she's influencing you right now. Okay, Six of Pentacles. There's that give and receive. Four of Wands. Okay, a star. Nice. Six of Swords. Seven of Swords. Five of Cups. It's really not a month to have to force anything because there's such a natural progression and momentum that's in play. So if you find yourself like trying to actively like push, it's almost like that sort of causes like the burnout to happen even quicker. Just like let things gather, because that flame is going to get brighter on its own regardless. Okay, this is Life Soul Vision, which is my own deck. So if you're new to the channel, you can check this out over on the website. So we've got the Spirit Horse, all that movement, Eight of Wands, Knight of Wands, like I said, blazing the trail. Earth, Medicine and Magic, cast their spells. We've got Rise and Love, Mirrors of the Mind, Spirit Crane, Honesty at the Edge of Quiet. A second one came out there, we'll take it. Golden Ribbons of Light. Movement, beautiful. Okay, let's have a look at your oracles here, Gemini. So for the month of April, what do we have here? Divine Masculine, Electric, Active Power, very similar to that Earth, Medicine and Magic. We'll explore these in your extended reading. Finally, an astrology card for Gemini for April, please. What do we have? Solar Calm, Clarify, beautiful. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. I hope you continue the conversation with the extended. Take good care, enjoy this intense, dynamic, exciting, unpredictable month ahead, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.